Hey y'all, this is Dr. Tasha Rogers and I am back at y'all. Okay, so I always address this topic and I really wanted to address it again. It's about that time. I try and hit it every quarter or so because I feel like it's a real, no matter how much I talk about it with patients, no matter how much I talk about it, women are always very conflicted with this issue, and men tend to be able to easily gaslight you all with this issue. So let's talk about trichomoniasis, trick. Trick is tricky. It has the right name. Y'all see Zoe sitting here in my arms. Trick has the right name. And like legit, it's tricky. So let me just be very clear. Let me start out with a few things when it comes to women. Let's start with the women and trichomonas. 9 times out of 10, if you have trick, there's going to be an odor. The trick odor and the vaginitis odor are very similar. I've been doing this for about 22 years now. Hell, it might be 24, but I've been doing this for 22, 24 years now. I can tell the difference in the smell, but you won't be able to tell the difference in the smell. It smells a lot like vaginitis, BV, the fishy type, not like the musty, stanky, trash canny type like y'all explained. No, a lot like the fishy type is what mostly it smells like. Oftentimes, you really won't have any other symptoms other than discharge and the odor. Sometimes it can burn and be a little bit irritating to you. Sometimes not even. If you've had it for a while, a lot of times women will complain about irregular bleeding, spotting. They had a weird period. They spotted for a couple of days before, then they had the period, spotted for a couple of days after. Maybe they had some random spotting for the month. So the symptoms that come with trick for women are very kind of non-specific, if you'll say, other than the odor. And a lot of women oftentimes will think that they have vaginitis with the odor, right? So they'll come in wanting to get treated for vaginitis or thinking they have vaginitis. And a lot of times I can tell the difference, but I'm very careful not to place an STD on somebody without confirmation. I am not going to be like, so I think this is trick. Let me treat you for trick. And you got a whole situation at home. And then you're going to go home like, she told me I had an STD and then it's not confirmed. Like, I would never do that to anybody. And I think it's kind of like uncool if anybody does. So, I'll kind of keep my peace. And normally they kind of run together. Very seldom you're going to have trick and not have BV, to be perfectly honest. So I'll treat the BV and I'll wait for the results to come back for the trick. That is generally how that's going to happen in my office. And sometimes I'll say I'm a little suspicious of the discharge, but let's just wait and see. You'll hear me say that. And there have been times I've been wrong. So this is why I will never, ever put the cart before the horse. I just don't do it. Now, when it comes to males and trick, this is where it gets tricky, y'all. This is where it's real tricky. Males generally have no signs or symptoms. None. Zero. Okay? So let me talk about the background of trick a little bit. Trick is a sexually transmitted disease. I know some people dig and they don't want it to be so. You don't want it to be so, and I understand, sis. And they dig in the barrels and the deep down in the, I don't even know, of articles, of some article that was published in 1974 that said you probably got it from sis, from me to you, sis. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt, sis. It's sexually transmitted, sis. It is sexually transmitted. The sooner we all admit that, the sooner we can get on the road to recovery. If you want to forgive that man and act like it didn't happen, I don't care. That is your business. That's what y'all deal with at the house. But as far as infection is concerned, it is sexually transmitted and it requires treatment. Now, I'm going to tell y'all where the gaslighting comes in. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? And I need y'all to forward this to a man, a woman, anybody, a homegirl, whatever, that has ever had trick up in their atmosphere. Are you ready? Okay. Males will always come back negative for trick when they're tested. I said it. Males will always come back negative for trick when they're tested. Why? Okay, so imagine you have a container this big, right? And I can't do this with both hands because I got a dog and a camera. So imagine you have a container this big. So testing is human testing, right? It is human, which means in a machine. So a machine has to pick up the particles. Well, we all know that a man has one hole, his urine, his semen, everything comes through that one hole, right? We have separate holes. We have a urinary hole, and then we have a vagina where our discharge and all that stuff is, right? They have one hole. So the concentration of trick that comes out is lower than the test can detect. So think about this. If you got a glass this full, the test cannot detect the trick until you got that much trick in the glass, right? But because they pee and they do this and they do that and they constantly have sex and they constantly ejaculate, the concentration of semen, of trick might be this. Now, they only need one damn trick cell to infect you, okay? But if they got this and the test don't pick it up until this, the test is going to read negative. It does not mean that they don't have trick. It does not mean that they did not give you trick. It does not mean that if they come back negative, they did not give you trick. Lies, lies, lies. What they say, all you need is a mustard seed, baby. That's all that trick need. Just one little swimmer. Just one. That's all it needs. You feel me? So understand, when you come back, you come to the gynecologist, and the gynecologist says, so you may have complained about something. You complained about odor, right? And you get tested. You've gotten your testing done. They treated you for BV or whatever the case may be. Then they call you back and say, hey, I'm talking what happens in my office. I don't know what happened at these other people because they just throw y'all on my chart. I don't know. But at my office, we give a call and say, hey, we need to discuss some results. We can do telemedicine or you can come on in. People want to run in the same day, child, break the speed limit. Okay. And that's when I explain you have trichomonas. It is sexually transmitted. I don't know where it came from, meaning I don't know whether you gave it to your partner or whether your partner gave it to you. That ain't my business. But let me put y'all up on game. You're going to go home and say, I got tricked. This is what you should go home and say. You should go home and say, my test came back for trichomonas and you need to go and be treated. Y'all can fight where it came from later, but you need to go and be treated. So when he goes to his doctor or the urgent care or the health department, whatever his money will allow, okay, he needs to say, my partner has trick and I need to be treated. Because what happens oftentimes is y'all get into my doctor said I got tricked and she said it's sexually transmitted and I know I ain't been messing with nobody. So, and he be like, no, I ain't been messing with nobody either. I ain't got that. So what does he do? He then goes to get checked. And then what does the test come back? Negative. So now he's going to gaslight you in the spirit of, you got an STD, you must have been cheating. You got an STD, you didn't get it from me. And when you go to these urgent cares or wherever they go, when the tests come back negative and they're not savvy enough for whatever reason, I don't know why, you should understand everything about something you're testing for, but oftentimes they don't. So when they go and they get a negative test, they don't want to treat them for it. And then imagine, so here's this. I blame the guys, but then I don't blame the guys, because think about this. Somebody has said to you, you got an STD, or you gave me an STD, or I got an STD, however they want to put it. They don't have any symptoms and their tests come back negative. Well, they feel like they don't want to get treated for something they ain't got. I can rock with them on it, but they have to understand this. And this is why I'm breaking it down to you. And you can show this to your boo. You can show this to anybody. This is what it is. Okay. So regardless as to where it came from, y'all fight about that later. The point is that, and think, if this is sexually transmitted, no matter who gave it to who, if you had unprotected sex with him, even if you gave it to him, he got it. So it's no way you could have had unprotected sex with somebody when you have trick and they come back negative. Not really. So it doesn't matter where it comes from. The point is, if it's sexually transmitted, which I'm telling you it is, and you had unprotected sex with them, Whether you gave it to him and he gave it to you, what ain't my business. The point is that the other person has it and needs to be treated for it. Does that make sense? Like I said, Trich is tricky because it makes it seem like the provider is on the side of the male, because it's like, nope, you ain't got no symptoms. Cool. Your test is negative too. You ain't got that. We're not treating you for that, when that is not actually true. Okay, so I want you ladies to be, if you've ever been in a situation where trichomonas was a thing and you have been kind of duped into them not being treated, and then you stay with them or you be with them or whatever the case may be, and then they convince you that somehow you have chronic BV, when it may be going back and forth between the two of you or whatever y'all social situation is. I don't know. But yes, he can have Trich and have a negative test. Yes, he can have Trich and be completely asymptomatic or have no symptoms. Absolutely. You're not in this by yourself. And like I say, even if you had the Trich and had unprotected sex with him, he got it, sis. He got it. So for somebody to be like, no, I ain't got it. So it's the gaslighting of it all. And a lot of times I don't even necessarily know that they purposefully gaslight you. But if a provider has told them they don't have it and they don't have any symptoms, you got to kind of understand where they sit. Also with Trich. Now, let me be clear, because we ain't no man haters over here. We don't do that, ladies. Let me be clear. Trich is one, because it has no symptoms in males, it can hang around for a long time, especially if they're in a space where they were told and they don't believe it, or they were never told. Because a lot of women will get something and be like, oh no, he didn't, and just move on and not have any conversation about, hey, you know, I went to the doctor and I found this out. So if this is a new relationship, like you just started having sex with this person, maybe you were having sex with him and now y'all are having unprotected sex, then it's perfectly possible that maybe he's not, you know, in the spirit of cheating, or have a cheater gene, or have the spirit of, you know, hoism on him. That might not be the issue, okay? If it's a new sexual relationship or a new unprotected sexual situation, it's very possible it could have been hanging around. Now, do not get into the comments and be like, well, we've been together for 6 years and it was negative all this time, but it's positive now. You think he had it? No, sis, no. 1 + 1 is 2 all day. I'm not hating on you. I'm not hating on your man. But if you have been to the gynecologist and you got a negative test previously and now you have a positive test, well, between the time you had the negative and between the time you had the positive, something happened up in there. Okay? STDs don't come from nowhere. They come from people. So either there was something with you or something with that person. I don't like to put nothing on nobody. That's not my place. But the point is just that it can linger. So if you're in a new situation and you've picked up an STD, don't assume he a hoe and he's cheating on you. Assume that maybe he came into the relationship with something that had not been treated or resolved. If this is a longer term relationship, you've been having sex unprotected for an extended period of time, yeah, and you've been tested and been to the gynecologist and nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, you positive. Got to kind of have a conversation, sis, okay? All right, so I hope this helps somebody. I hope this blesses somebody, and I hope this clears up a lot of questions about Trich. Please, please, please share this. I want you guys to get this information out, especially to males. Because again, I don't see males, so I don't know what the long-term implications of having untreated Trich is for males. I don't know. I'm not going to even profess to know. I got enough to know, understand, learn, and stay abreast on with y'all ladies. I can't then go over to what the men got going on. So, you know, at the end of the day, please, please share this. And if a man thinks this may be his thing, he can always see a urologist and get the real lowdown. A urologist is a penis, urinary tract, all that doctor for the males. And certainly, you know, if you're over a certain age, I would say over the age of 35, your partner should probably have one. And should be seeing one, but that's just my recommendations to my patients. So again, I hope this blessed somebody, and this is Dr. Tasha with a Trich moment.